coincidentally, in my last show on Sunday Scoop, I was talking about false prophecies of the Prophet. And then, so I discussed about 4 or 5 hadiths. I might go through some of them again today. But then coincidentally, the same day or the day before, at least I just saw Muhammad Hijab having a chat with Jordan Peterson again. And then he welcomes Jordan Peterson to accept Islam. We're going to play a little clip to you. And he says, would you accept Islam? And he says, no, you've got the same one. Okay. So I said, and make sure you do it at 1.5 or 1.75 so we can, they can't do it.
If you want to do it, you could do it if you want. You want to
the same thing. Okay. Yeah, sure. I've got it.
Because you want to have control over it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we can do that. So I go, okay, that's just a coincidence. And I created it because I did this video. So I go, okay, this is just a coincidence. Hijab is telling people, Jordan Peterson, about the prophecies of Muhammad. And I'm like, hang on a second. And we're going to go through those prophecies, what those prophecies are. But he didn't tell Jordan Peterson about this particular hadith or the prophecy of Muhammad. The day of judgment will not come until you see the women of Yemen twerk, 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 twerk. What was the song? Work, work, work. My anaconda don't. So my point is, they're so clever and crafty, these people. And we're just going to play some of these videos. Well, actually, we're going to play this.
But what's the exact prophecy? You're not going to see the end of days until the woman of where?
Okay, all right. Well, let me play that too. Let me bring that.
Did you say Yemen?
Yeah, I think Yemen. Yeah, it's the people.
Does it specifically has to be Yemen?
Yeah, because it's the people of the Al-Khalasa. Was a tribe of those. Let me find that.
The women of Yemen are not in mood for twerking.
Yeah, well, that's what Prophet Muhammad said, man. I don't know, man. Prophet Muhammad had more. Prophet Muhammad had access to more information than I did, so please don't hold that against me. Okay, that is Bukhari 7116. Okay, so this is the hadith that these guys, that Muhammad Hijab didn't tell Jordan Peterson about. Allah's messenger said, the hour will not be established till the buttocks of the women of the tribe of Daus move while going around the Al-Khalasa. The Al-Khalasa was the idol of Daus tribe, which they used to worship in pre-Islamic period of ignorance. By the way, I think this Daus tribe is in present-day Yemen. So Prophet Muhammad said that the buttocks of these women will be, they'll be moving, they'll be jiggling. Maybe Prophet Muhammad was, You're on mute.
What? Why? This is like, I don't understand how Muslims could take their religion seriously. Your prophet is making prophecies based on women's buttocks jiggling.
maybe he was, what's the word? Pog? What's the word for the big ass? Something like I don't know, and I haven't seen this.
Do Christians and Jews have butt jiggling prophecies, or is it just like?
Maybe Prophet Muhammad was a butt man. Come on, let's just.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like it. He thinks that's the end of days.
Yeah, he's saying, the buttocks, you naughty men, you look at them. Well, these women. No, but not only just that. He's established till the buttocks of the women of the tribe of those move while going around the Al-Khalasa. So the Al-Khalasa was their Kaaba, right? So there were many Kaabas around. So basically, they are worshipping, and before in the so-called period of ignorance, people used to go around Kaaba naked. So he's saying the same thing, that thing is going to be brought back, but people of the Al-Khalasa. So again, he's basically saying that but again, he's just out of disgust. He said the women will be naked, their butts will be jiggling, their butts will be moving up and down. I don't know who would say no to that kind of religion.
Is that place still standing?
No, it doesn't. No,
so there will never be end of. There will never be. Never gonna happen then.
Well, of course, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. And here we have this idiot. Yeah.
I've actually this now makes sense because I listen to some Islamic channels and they think Mohammed bin Salman bringing concerts back to Saudi Arabia is fulfilling this prophecy because girls are jiggling their butts in Saudi Arabia. So this is like a sign of the end of days.
Yes. Let me see.
Oh
Let me
my
see.
God.
Was Nicki Minaj in Saudi Arabia? Let me see.
But she's not.
Isn't she the best twerker? Oh, rapper
Is it-
Nicki Minaj has cancelled a scheduled performance in Saudi Arabia next week. Remember that? There you go.
Oh yeah, Nicki Minaj was one of the few people that I appreciated as a celebrity who
you did.
canceled. Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. She didn't go. She didn't go and twerk. Imagine her twerking. Muslims would have been like, see, our prophet got it right.
No, but her twerking is not going to be enough because she has to make the people, like the remnants of that tribe, people close from that tribe. Yeah, so we don't know who they are. We just know that probably some of the people from that whose that tribe is their ancestors are still living in Saudi Arabia, right?
It's gone, man.
So it just
Banu Daws was one of the clan of Arabia during Muhammad's era. There's no such tribe existing now.
I know, but they're like probably their DNA is still passing on through other people who live there. So this is the United States plan. The Illuminati and all the, I don't know, Freemasons or all these people, they know that if they send their celebrity women to Saudi Arabia, and if enough butts are jiggling in Saudi Arabia, at some point, some of them would be from that tribe around the place that they're supposed to be jiggling their butts. And hopefully that would be the key to just basically, that would be the code that you enter to bring the end of days. This is how the enemies of Islam are so deceptive, but they be planning, and Allah is planning as well. So, and they will never win.
But have a listen to this,
Okay.
But have a listen to this. This deception of these people, so
and you can think about them as a microcosm of the world. People were under tremendous stress, and one of the temptations was to become a trustee and participate in the system of oppression. And the camps in Russia could not possibly have sustained themselves if the prisoners weren't running them. And that's something to think about with regards to totalitarianism. And the world, in large part, was his observation that this genuine striving to something like clarity of speech and a higher unity could withstand even the catastrophes of the Gulag camps.
I want to ask you a question just before we end.
Yeah, sure. I believe Polite sat here just to indicate we need to wrap up.
Okay, but I just want to ask one last question because I'm interested in both.
See, he has to do it. I mean, what would be a Muslim who doesn't try to get people to accept Islam? Yeah, you won't be a real Muslim. These guys are such servants. I mean, they're such enslaved by the ideology that they just cannot have a respectful conversation. They always have to do, hey, by the way, come to our religion, please. Our religion is the best religion in the world.
They're so horny for famous people becoming Muslim. They're like
Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is every incel British Muslims that far down the throat. Like Andrew Tate. Like every video you look at Andrew Tate, and we're going to talk about him as well. Like they're just, Andrew Tate, brother, you come to Islam, brother. And he's very clever too. He doesn't, I mean, I know you think that he's an idiot, but I reckon he's very clever. That he just cleverly just doesn't poke them. He just gives every now and then. He just gives one word about he says something nice about Islam, and people are just drooling over it. But anyway, have a listen to this guy.
Both of you in a sense, yeah. I said that from a Muslim perspective, the question that we're asked to ask is bring the evidence, yeah. If I were to bring reasonable evidence, which would satisfy some kind of probabilistic reasoning, that the Prophet Muhammad, we believe is the final prophet, right? Yeah. That he was a true prophet. Would you be willing to become a Muslim?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't dispute a priori the idea that Muhammad was a true prophet.
Let's just, instead of going further, tell me that. What kind of bullshit is this? There can be only two positions, yeah? Either Muhammad was a false prophet or Muhammad was a real prophet. If Muhammad was a false prophet, then you discredit him because you're Christian, and obviously a priori assumption is that Muhammad was a false prophet. You are, and basically that stems from your Christian faith, and every Christian believes Muhammad was a false prophet. But if you believe he's a true prophet, why the fuck would you not believe in him then? Tell me, Armin. Why would you not? You refusing to believe in him and refusing to accept his message, knowing that he's a messenger of Allah, why would you not believe in him? That's a massive punch in your own freaking face. Why do these people do this? And if you look at it underneath the comments are like so nice. Oh yes, Jordan Peterson, we must have these meaningful. What fucking meaningful conversation is this? What kind of a meaningful conversation is this? You're being deceptive, both of you. At least Muhammad Hijab is not being deceptive. He's like, hey, you know what? We believe Muhammad is so and so and so. Here's a reason. I believe this evidence is compelling. Now, would you believe in it? But here, Peterson is saying, oh, I have no doubt that he's a real prophet, but I don't believe in it.
I mean, he technically didn't say that. Technically, he said nothing. He said that I cannot dismiss the possibility a priori that he's a prophet. Well, you could say that about any claim. Like, you could literally say that about almost everything except the existence of your own experiences. That's the only thing philosophically that you cannot reject. Everything else is possible. Everything is possible. Yeah. So it's just such an empty statement, phrase. Like, it's just like, oh, I cannot completely rule out the possibility. Well, what can you rule out? Like, that's true about every claim, almost every other claim in the goddamn world.
I cannot rule out pink unicorns. Yeah, I cannot rule out pink. So what are you talking about?
I mean, oh God, can you rule out, Jordan Peterson, that I am your father? Technically, you cannot rule out. You cannot a priori. I might be your father. Jordan Peterson might actually be my son. Okay, is that probable? No. How possible is it? Oh, close to zero. But can you rule it out? You can't. You can't rule it out. There's nothing that you can't rule.
I'm curious now. I'm curious. I'm curious if that's a good example, though. How can he not rule it out? Because could be simulation, could be a parallel universe. Is that what you're saying? Could be all of those things.
I don't know. I could actually come up with a list of 1,000 scenarios where I could still be Jordan Peterson's dad, and none of us know about this. Okay? We can
time machine. Time machine.
What time machine? Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. so I don't understand. These guys are supposed to be very smart freaking people, and they sit down there with the serious faces, and they make these pathetic arguments.
But I don't understand what that means. Yeah. So obviously, so this is the way I'm going to look at it.
I don't understand what that means either, Jordan Peterson.
It's psychologically,
wait. If you don't so again, that makes this first statement even more meaningless. Okay, yes. Because statements that I don't understand what they mean are even more possible because I can't rule it out because I didn't even know what they're saying. So of course I can't rule it out. Okay,
people are granted revelations, and it's obviously the case. Let's speak.
No, there you go. People are granted revelation. This is why I said what I said initially, that he actually means that I can't rule out, meaning he could be a real prophet. Listen to this point again.
The idea that Muhammad was a true prophet. But I don't understand what that means. So like obviously, so this is the way I'm going to look at this psychologically again. It's people are granted revelations, and it's obviously the case. Let's speak empirically that the revelation of Muhammad united a fractious society.
Okay, so he goes, obviously, that's obviously a case that people are granted revelations. Oh, how the fuck can you say that? You cannot rule out. Oh, I can't rule out he's a true prophet, but I can obviously say that people have been granted revelations. Excuse me?
With certainty.
With certainty.
Can you not rule out can you rule out the possibility that nobody gets revelation?
Yes. No, he won't do that. Why? Because is that because Muhammad Hijab is sitting next to him, or he himself is confused about his own religiosity, and then he likes to confuse people further about his religion. This is why, bring back freaking Sam Harris. I don't know if you remember that. Sam Harris and him sat down with Ben Shapiro and all that. He goes, oh, Jordan, I once heard somebody asked you a question about resurrection, and you said, oh, well, it's very complicated. I need about 3 hours to explain that. Sorry, 3 hours to explain whether resurrection happened or not? And Sam Harris said,
no question.
Sam Harris said, how about almost certainly not? That took less than 3 freaking seconds. But these guys, I don't know. Maybe I'm not insulting his intelligence in a way that, but I'm just baffled by the way they make out these pretty petty non-starters as though these are confirmed done deals, as though they are very complicated. By the way, he starts every sentence with, "It's complicated." How freaking complicated is it?
Okay, I think this is not because of stupidity or anything, okay? I think this is what happens when you take into account what your audience wants to hear, rather than saying what you think is true. Maybe like unconsciously or consciously, again, I'm not sure about this, but I think the calculation that is happening in your brain is who's my audience and what do they want to hear? And that is affecting, like, denying simple answers to simple questions. because you know if an honest answer to that question will basically alienate a whole bunch of.
Well, then that's deception. Then that's outright deception.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, that's what I think is happening. Again, I'm not sure, but I think that's what's happening.
I still I don't know. Like, I mean, I step short of judging people's integrity, but it's either they are being deceptive or they're being stupid. What is it? I don't look at Dr. Peterson and I say, well, he's stupid. Well, what's the other option then? I don't know. Yeah, I know he's being deceptive then. I don't get it. But then, is he? I can't say that. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm guessing, so I can be sure.
Yeah, fair enough. No, but you're right. There's nothing else. I mean,
it was a uniting revelation. Now, how to conceptualize, but it's not a universally uniting revelation, at least not yet or not now, because we're not all united. So why? Well, maybe we didn't understand the revelation properly. That's one
wait, one second. This is also not a compliment. The other people, like in history, like, oh yeah, Muhammad united a whole bunch of people. That's true, okay? So did Genghis Khan, right? He managed to unite a whole bunch of tribes against the Chinese or everyone else. Like a lot of divided tribes, Mongols used to fight against themselves, and Genghis Khan united them with each other. So did Alexander the Great, right? So did a lot of other leaders, right? So a lot of leaders that maybe Muslims even think who are burning in hell for eternity. So just saying the ability of Muhammad for uniting a whole bunch of tribes together is not like a lot of Muslims like enjoy that as a compliment, but they see other people who achieve the same things as maybe deserving of eternal hellfire. So that's a contradiction. Yeah.
Or better. Genghis Khan, or better than Muhammad. Yeah. Muhammad only united the people of the Arabian Peninsula, just with present-day Saudi Arabia. You can include Oman and Yemen as well. Genghis Khan in his own lifetime spread way outside Mongolia. He conquered.
You're right.
He conquered China. He went eastward as far as Samarkand and Bukhara. Genghis Khan conquered way more territory in his lifetime than Muhammad did. Yes, Islamic conquest began. Most of the Islamic conquest began after Muhammad's death. So anyway, so that's him qualifying that. Okay, I can't rule out his prophethood. So he's saying, well, why can't you rule out his prophethood? And then he says, revelations are definitely real. Excuse me. And then he says the utility. He goes straight into utility, and Muhammad Hijab is much cleverer than that, and he's going to counter him on that. And then he goes into the utility of that. Hey, look, Muhammad united a lot of people, but then to which he's going to say, well, that's not really the end game of Islam.
And what you're saying, that unity is the ultimate objective.
Well, not exactly, because then you have the problem of uniformity that you
even the idea of unity itself. I mean, is there?
Well, we talked about so
unity is a great. Just to be clear,
yeah.
I believe that unity is a great objective.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the all-defining one. For example, if there is an injustice that is so great that this unity is more appropriate, then I can imagine situations where this unity is probably better than unity.
Right.
I'm sure you can as well. For example, like in Soviet
that
Union.
would be a false unity in some sense.
Exactly.
Right?
So that's
well, that's why you wanted to address the elephant under the carpet right away. Exactly. We can't have a false peace.
Exactly.
And we can't incorporate things we can't yet incorporate.
Yes. And the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because I feel like it's my duty as a Muslim, especially in the mosque, right, to tell you that.
Especially in the mosque. These poor, you guys, like, look at how many sources sitting next to him. You guys are such slaves, and they are proud of that. They're really proud of that. He feels compelled because he knows, Armin, he knows that on the judgment day, what face he's going to take in front of his dearly beloved prophet, that oh dear prophet. The prophet's going to ask him, why did you not offer Islam to Jordan Peterson when he came to you, especially in the mosque?
I also think this is also a play to the audience. I'm not saying Muhammad Hijab knows this. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. But he is very well aware of the huge demand. Like, I think he also knows that this is probably a dream that will never happen. Like, the idea of Jordan Peterson becoming Muslim, okay? It's almost impossible, but he knows that his audience think it's possible, okay? And they mentally jack off to that becoming true. Like, they actually think about these things, and this is something that, because I don't know if people understand, Muslims deal with a lot of inferiority complex, okay?
Oh yeah.
And they have a major case of inferiority complex, and they see that a really good way to mediate that is to see other people that they look highly upon to become Muslim, to prove not just to others but to themselves that being Muslim is not inferior. They need that, okay? And there's a hierarchy of people that that there seems to be a market for seeing people becoming Muslim. It's celebrities, white women, and above all else is white female celebrities. You have no idea, like if a video of a white woman becoming Muslim just gets so many views. Same video if a Christian Arab, for example, becomes Muslim, will get like a fraction of the view, right? Like, oh yeah,
look at this.
Yeah,
you remember these idiots? No, they're not idiots. Muslims are idiots. Muslims are suckers. This white couple got $72,000 out of Muslims. Why? Because this guy doesn't like to go to work and he wants a new car. And alhamdulillah, we accepted Islam. You know,
wow.
And these people fell for it.
Wait, what do they need the money for?
I have some sort of an illness. Nobody knows what that illness is. I can't go to work. I need a new car. My car's broken down. I can't afford to fix it. But alhamdulillah, I have just converted to Islam. These grifters. Hey guys,
yeah.
I made a whole detailed video on that. They've now stopped it or whatever. But look at this one. How stupid are these people? Let me show you another one.
For 72K, I will become Muslim as well, guys.
Have a look at another one. Have a look at this one. 2 new Muslims scammed out of life savings. £2,000 they've raised. Okay, the goal is 10,000. I don't know about this story, but my point is.
Wait, go back up. 2 new Muslims scammed out of life savings. Oh.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, this is a. I don't know. Like I haven't done research on this. Okay, I haven't done. This could be a legit case, but my point here is, it's so easy to cash in on the fact that I'm a new Muslim, especially if you're a white person. If you have a white person, put a hijab on them. I'm joking. Don't do that. But you can fool people out of that, especially Muslims. You can fool people. Oh, look, this white person just converted to Islam and they've been robbed. Of so and so and so.
The second one that you had didn't even have a real image. They had a stock image. You probably will get a lot of success if you're really like a video of a white girl in tears becoming a Muslim, saying like, oh, like just play that as on and be like cry and be like, oh my God, God is speaking to me. You have no idea. Like, God, this got £2,000 with a stock image. Imagine what you could do with an actual white girl in tears. With a hijab on, you have no idea the potential here.
I mean, my point is, as you were saying, the inferiority complex Muslims have, you can scam money out of these Muslims so easily, just in the name of Allah. And maybe this is what you're talking about. That that Muhammad Hijab is aware of that. These guys are aware of that, and this is why they play their cards very carefully. Hey, brothers, as a Muslim, as my duty, I forwarded the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to our brother Jordan Peterson. Now it's up to him. Now it's up to Allah if he's going to lift the veil from his heart. Like I've done it, my brothers and sisters. That's what they do.
And you know what a credit that would be to hijab if he
converts someone.
if Jordan Peterson from now on, if he has the slightest positive thing to say about Muslims or Islam,
he does say that.
I know, but people will credit it to hijab. People will be like, oh, this is because hijab talked to him about this. Like, brother hijab has look how powerful hijab's advocacy has become. Look, he has used Jordan Peterson's platform, which is way bigger than his own platform, as a way to spread the message of Islam. So this is a major credit for him. Like, this is very smart by Muhamamd Hijab, and it's like going to really boost his platform. As big as his platform is, this is a lot bigger. Yeah. What?
This is a good story. I converted to Islam. I can't work. I'm becoming homeless because my family members kicked me out of my house because they were radical Christians. And now because I'm a Muslim, I'm homeless. Go find me.
That's perfect. So hard. That's perfect.
This is it. You're done. 50 grand. 50 freaking grand. We can go Harvey's on that.
Get Islam to find the education, the college fund of white girls. Like, this is great.
Sister needs to quit her job because she's become a Muslim. She wants to become a Muslim, but in order to feed her family, she needs to quit her job because her work doesn't allow a hijabi worker. So please go pay my GoFundMe. How's that?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Guys, if you are a white girl and you're watching this and you actually cash in on this, can you please donate to us a little bit because we gave you this idea?
We're joking, guys. We're joking. Of course, we're joking. We don't want this clip to be taken out on the people blowing it out of proportion. We're giving you ideas, but I think people are not stupid. People can see this nonsense. But anyway, let's just have let's just quickly go through.
I don't agree with that part. I don't agree with that last part. People can't see, like they will fall for it.
Okay, I can listen to this part.
As Muslims, we believe that the previous dispensations, as they were like Christianity and Judaism, they are part of our faith in a sense. Not in the sense of believing the doctrines and all that kind of thing. Like we obviously don't believe in original sin or the resurrection, the crucifixion, all this kind of thing. We don't believe in any of that. Or the Trinity, of course. But in the sense that we do believe in Jesus Christ, we believe in all of the Old Testament prophets, most of them, not all of them. Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and so on. And we believe that each prophet was sent with two things: the message, which is to believe and worship in one God.
Oh, you know how cleverly he initially said we believe in all your prophets. Armin, did you notice how he initially said, you're on mute, that we believe in all prophets, biblical prophets, but then he realized, oh, hang on a second, there's some female prophets in the Bible as well. So he goes, no, Jesus, Moses, like most of them.
Yeah, most.
This is how he's so clever, and this is why I go like people like Jordan Peterson or something. Why have they not spoken with any ex-Muslim? Why have they not? Jordan Peterson's daughter has spoken with AP. And AP absolutely destroyed this Muhamamd Hijab guy, and he showed her these words. But again, maybe you're right. Maybe these guys are held hostages by their own crowd. They know this.
Yeah,
there is deception.
Yeah, because Jordan Peterson's daughter was shocked by the things that AP showed her.
Yes,
right. And thank you so much, by the way. Hats off to AP for doing that. But how come, like? Wouldn't Jordan Peterson's daughter tell his father about the things that he discovered?
She would have.
So why? Okay, why wouldn't you bring that up, Jordan Peterson? Why wouldn't you be like, hey, my daughter told me this about some of your views? How would you respond to that? Like, why is none of this being challenged?
There is one point.
Coward. You're a coward.
Earlier on, I know he's a coward, or he's being deceptive. He's being deceptive about his audience because he knows a big chunk of, obviously, there's this thing called analytics in your YouTube channel, and then you go to audience, and then you look at the audience, and then you see, okay, where these people are coming from. So he knows that a lot of Muslims, these British Muslims, are watching him, and they leave all these mushy, nice comments underneath. They say, oh, we need more of these kind of dialogues. Yeah, you scratch my balls, I grab your balls, that kind of thing. And that's what they're doing, basically. They're stroking each other's dicks. I'm sorry to say that. Totally different worldviews. And the same thing Andrew Tate is doing now.
That kind of thing. Like, we obviously don't believe in original sin or the
Wait, did you post the link somewhere? Because people, I don't know how Angry Loser found the link to come up here.
Yeah, he's my patron, yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll put that in my patron, yes.
All right, we'll finish this.
Or the Trinity, of course. But in the sense that we do believe in Jesus Christ, we believe in all of the Old Testament prophets, most of them, if not all of them.
Old Testament prophet. Oh, most of them, not all of them. Because they're female prophets. Because of the female prophets, yeah?
Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and so on. And we believe that each prophet was sent with two things: the message, which is to believe and worship in one God, and some kind of evidence to indicate their truthfulness. Yes. So, with, for example, Moses and Jesus, we know what the miracles are, splitting the sea, and we believe that actually happened historically, right? We have no qualms with that. We don't have this kind of materialistic viewpoint on the issue. With Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we believe that because he was sent to all of humanity, he had to have an evidence base that would satisfy not just the eyes. In other words, it wouldn't be just something that could be witnessed. It would be something that can be interrogated and scrutinized for all times and places. So it would be an auditory revelation. In this case, it's the Quran. The Quran means a recitation. Yeah. So the central message of the Quran is tawheed, or the idea of worshiping one God and believing in one God, as we mentioned. But there is an attempt in the Quran to challenge, for example, there's something called the falsification test, or the inimitability test. The Quran says, for example, that try and find a contradiction within the Quran. Had it been from other than God, we would have found many contradictions.
And when we show them these contradictions, they don't admit it. When we show them the contradictions, they say, well, hang on, that's not a contradiction. I've got tens of them. I've got a whole folder of that, but I probably don't have enough time. Maybe in my solo show, I'll talk about that. But let's just carry on with this nonsense.
Here's the thing. Here, let me tell. Okay, so this is one of the largest Muslim content creators in the world, with one of the biggest audiences, like probably the biggest audience after Ali Dabo when it comes to YouTube, and right. Mm-hmm. Next to somebody else with a big following as well. So two of the biggest ones, right? Talking to another person with one of the biggest followings of in worldwide in general, not Christian, not right wing, just in general.
But conservative. No, but conservative. His crowd is conservative.
No, because I'm just saying not just conservative, but generally he has one of the biggest audiences in the world, right?
5 million, yeah, okay.
Yeah. When it comes to intellectual discussions and stuff like that, right? So these two people talking. So this is, when it comes to inviting somebody to Islam, this is it. Like, you have to get this right. This is the moment of, like, you're going, there's a target and you have to aim for it, and this is your chance to do it perfectly. Okay, you can't miss this opportunity. So whatever you use to invite somebody to Islam, it has to be your winning card, the best argument you could have to show somebody to be like, this is why you should become Muslim. So we could see, based on the Muslims' criteria, what is the best thing they could have to show to somebody this important to bring to Islam. What do they have? It's goddamn prophecies, right? This is how pathetic Islam is. This is their strongest weapon. And it's embarrassing. Like, if you go through the prophecies, it is jiggling butts in Saudi Arabia, okay? This is the winning card of Muslims, jiggling butts, predicting the end of days. The hadith that Harry Sultan showed us just a few minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you go out, given that this is the most important, the most powerful weapon they have, right? If you could go and show how ridiculous these prophecies are and how they don't predict anything, you have dismantled this. Like this, everything else is just a walk in the park.
Yeah. This is the hadith we showed you, and not only just that. Like, I mean, I can just show you these contradictions. I've got a whole folder, and again, lest you deny every evidence we show you, there is no point. Chapter 8, verse 65, Allah first says, "Oh, you just get ready. You will overcome 2,000." And then Allah says, "Oh, when people say, no, we can't do 2,000." Which means 1 over 10 people. No. People started mutiny. They had Prophet Muhammad had mutiny at hand. People said, "No, there's no way we're going to find that us 100 are going to fight 2,000 people." So another verse came a few days later, and they said, "No, you will overcome 200 people." So so meaning you're not going to be that many. They're not going to be that many. So they're going to be less of them. So it's the same thing, that these contradictions, whatever strikes you of disaster, no disaster strikes except by permission of Allah. So there's so many. Again, sorry, was I showing you?
You didn't share.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, so that's just that's just the contradictions part. But I want to focus on the prophecies part.
Okay, let me bring it up. By the way, I posted a link. Just a second. Wait.
It's interesting because now even West.
I posted a link for our YouTube members to, after this, we're going to bring them up after
academics like Angelica Neuris and others have said that this challenge has not been met. So a German Orientalist, she's recently said this. So this is another thing. And then you have
challenge has not been met. Yeah, you picked your favorite German Orientalist. Yeah. What about other people who say that yes, there is a challenge? I mean, let me show this folder. Let me send this folder to Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, if you're willing to open your mind, or you're just going to go in and say it's just complicated, or you're going to keep saying everything's complicated, then fair enough. You're not interested. But these guys, Armin, you said that, what's the best thing you can bring? That's another best thing. I'm actually surprised he didn't bring that up. Bring a surah like this. This is the best surah. Imagine he could have brought that up.
They know how pathetic that is. So it's interesting that he is not using the best proof, the main proof that Quran puts as a challenge for it. Like, he brings up the prophecies, but he doesn't. Like, when he comes to bringing on his winning card, he doesn't bring the winning card according to the Quran itself, because I know they themselves know how ridiculous that challenge is. If this Quran is false, bring something like it. Like, who's the judge? What's the standard? Yeah. Who's to say that this is not better? Like, based on who's going to be the judge? Like, it's so ridiculous of an argument. But yeah,
that's incredibly stupid. But anyway, listen to this part.
A range of prophecies, for example. Like, if you look at Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 21, it's mentioned in the Bible that one of the hallmarks of a true prophet is that, or a false prophet, is that when they talk about the future, that it will be false. But the Quran makes very specific very specific prophecies about the future. For example, in chapter 30, verse 2 to 4, it says, that the Romans have been defeated. At that time, there was an assassinated empire, the Roman Empire.
Listen to this part. He's going to lie here, and then he's going to know that he's lied, so he covered it up. So he's saying the Romans have been defeated. Listen to this.
And they were in war with each other. And that from 3 to 9 years, that they would defeat the enemy. You see, it gave very specific timelines. It gave very specific, and this was a very risky type of prediction, because if you got it wrong, then it would endanger and undermine the entire prophet of the Prophet Muhammad.
So this is sorry. So this is where 3 to 9 is. Yeah. So let me show you the actual Quranic verse. So this is the
make sure
Quranic.
You share it.
May, you need to show this, okay? Because I can't see my screen when I see that. Okay, sorry. Okay. So the Byzantines have been defeated. Okay, the Romans have been defeated. Chapter 3, verse 2, in the nearest land, but they, after their defeat, will overcome. Okay, fair enough. Within 3 to 9 years, to Allah belongs the command. Now, let's put this into perspective. First of all, Armin, what kind of a prophecy would you call me? Oh, Harris, you're very smart. If I told you within 3 to 9 years, Russia will be defeated at the hands of Ukraine. If I said this within 1 to 9 years, let's just say that, or within 1 to 6 years.
It's not a prophecy unless you say like at this day, at this time, something specific, whatever. Like this is like a huge window.
This is a fucking mockery out of human intelligence. You look at an 80-year-old man and you say you're going to die within 1 to 20 years. Yeah. You fucking idiot! Like you're stating the obvious. It's not like you're predicting in 20 years' time you're going to have a war of Taiwan with South Korea. Okay, something that is totally unfathomable, right? Taiwan and South Korea are not going to war anytime soon, yeah? Because if anyone has any understanding of geopolitics, you can't say that. So, I mean, the Sassanid Empire and the Persian and the Byzantine, they were at each other's throats for like 50 years. Yeah, they were like, they killed each other. They were like, there was a year of 4 Sassanid Persian rulers. What were they called? Khosrow and all of those guys. There were so many of them. So here's Muhammad looking out from the outside, and he puts that in the Quran as though this is a very smart prediction. Within 3 to 9, what a random word. Within 3 to 9.
But yeah, I mean, this kind of suggests that Allah is not all-knowing. Like if Allah is saying within 3 to 9, doesn't that suggest that he doesn't know whether it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9? Like, you should know. Why are you giving us a guess? You're Allah. You know everything. Why are you giving us a window here?
Or, by the way, a lot of people say now, I don't know the Arabic language, but apparently this word, apparently this means a few, not 3 to 9 years. And watch this, and he knows this too. Let's go back to him, Muhammad Hijab, and he says the same thing. He first says 3 to 9 years, but now he says he corrects himself.
Wait, hold it.
That the Persians, sorry, that the Romans had been defeated by the Persians in battle. Yeah, and so it's mentioned, for example, the Chronicles of Theophanes, which is the primary source material outside of the Quran Sunnah. You can find it now, it's even translated into English. He clearly mentions that 8 years after this particular prediction took place, it did happen like that. So we have a range of predictions, even that relate.
So it actually happened 80 years after that. 80 years. So Allah just made it, 3 to 9. In the 8th year he made it. Hey, what an all-knowing, amazing God who created the universe 14 billion years ago knew this exactly. Some people say Quran was created before the Big Bang.
It wasn't even a hard prediction. Like it's kind of equivalent to saying like
Russia will be defeated by the Ukrainians.
Something like that. Yeah, like it's not like, or it would be okay. Let me try. Okay. Iran's regime would either fall or will have major structural changes between now and 10 years from now. Okay, so if this becomes true, I am as all-knowing as Allah. Okay, so exactly. There will be either a toppling of the regime of Iran or major structural changes between now and 10 years from now. That's my prediction. Let's see if it comes true. Yeah. I mean, come on. If you're Allah and you want to impress us with prophecies, wouldn't you come up with something really, really specific? It's not very impressive. Like, if it's supposed to be a miracle that people are supposed to quote as proof that Allah is real and Islam is a true religion, you would think Allah would come up with something that you would be dumbfounded by. You would be like in awe. You're like, how the hell could that have happened? Like, there would be no room for chance, no room for like guesswork, no room for this was like just an obvious prediction by human beings.
These are the people. Let me show you this. These are the people. Prediction of the collapse of the Soviet Union. These are the people. All of these people predicted. Winston Churchill. All of these people predicted that. Charles de Gaulle and Conrad Adorno. Whittaker Chambers, he wrote a book on that. So all these people predicted that the Soviet Union is going to fall, and it did fall. Some people actually said it in the 80s, or it would fall in the 80s, or not, late 80s or whatever. And it turned out to be the case. I'm making a prediction. Russia is going to.
What's the religion? Can we convert to that?
Yeah, it's called having a bit of knowledge of geopolitics. That's what it's called. so that's what these guys say, and then they go, "Oh, but here he is. He's talking seriously about it." Okay, let's just go with this. Okay.
To the current day, the Prophet said that the barefooted Arab, they will be competing for the highest building.
Yeah. Again, okay. He talks about the barefooted one. Yeah, the most. I have this one that I call the most used prediction. The barefoot one. Okay, there it is. And when you see barefoot, naked, destitute shepherds competing in constructing tall buildings, big deal. People have been competing for tall buildings for a very long time, since the ancient Egyptians, Tower of Babel. People always wanted to construct tall buildings, tall structures. But they don't mention this previous bit, when the slave woman gives birth to her mistress. Meaning when non-Arabs will give birth to Arabs. But either way, slave women. There is no slavery even in Saudi Arabia anymore. They never show you that. That's just one sentence before.
Yeah, but even the sentence that is supposed to be a prophecy, what is it? How is that a prophecy?
Yes.
Who are these? Like, this is not it's not specific enough. For it will obviously become true. There will it's one of those prophecies that cannot not come true. There will always be at one point people who are not very rich and barefoot that will become rich at some point. And what do rich people do? They build big buildings. That will always happen in history. This is a prophecy that is guaranteed to come true.
People one day will travel to the moon for tourism. Oh yeah, I made a prophecy. Oh, isn't that amazing, isn't it? I've made a prophecy. People will fly now, okay? People will be on the other side.
You know what? That's not impressive as a prophecy for you, but and that's your point. But it would have been amazing if that was in the Quran. Imagine if the Quran said people will land on the moon one day. I would be impressed if that was your prophecy. Okay? People would here's a prophecy I would wish if the Quran had. I would be impressed. People would be sending flying metals that lands on Mars. Like if that was in the Quran, I would be like, holy hell! How did they even know that you could land on Mars? Okay, nothing like that exists. Everything is vague or prophecies that are guaranteed to come true.
Armin, are you? Put your money where your mouth is, because I'm about to show you the Quranic verse that actually Muslims use, and they say, "Aha, we actually did predict this." Rockets.
Okay.
Allah. Yeah, it's that one. O general of jinn and mankind, if you are able to penetrate beyond the realms of the heavens and the earth, then penetrate. You cannot penetrate without power. By power, they mean rocket fuel. But in reality, if you actually be honest about it, this translation is much better. O company of jinn and mankind, if you're able to pass beyond the regions of the heavens and the earth, meaning where Prophet Muhammad went to the heaven on his flying donkey to negotiate the number of prayers, then pass. You will not pass except by the authority from Allah. So basically, Allah is saying that I make it happen. I'm the one who will take you forward. Exactly.
That's actually, it shows that this is actually something that shows that not only doesn't have correct prophecies, it has prophecies that didn't come true. Like it's the opposite of a prophecy. It says something that non-Muslims went to space. And they didn't have that authority. Like that would have been a good verse to cite as a prophecy if Muslims were the first people that went to space. Like, look, like we would like.
No, but they would say, but you know, I mean, how that works. They would say, well, Allah gave the authority to the non-Muslims.
Sure.
Of course, you know, like the Big Bang. I had this caller who said Edwin Hubble read the Quran, and that's how he gave the inflationary theory, because there's one verse where it says we expanded the universe. You know, one of these verses say that. Anyway, very quickly, let me finish this one because it's almost done. So he talks about this Arabs one, constructing tall buildings, which I've obviously shown you. The one before that, it clearly says slave women will give birth to Arabs. You know, meaning these Arab men will be banging or raping these slave women that are non-Arabs, and they would give birth to Arab children. So basically the race will be
I can't believe this is the argument. I can't believe that these are the best arguments these people have for you to become Muslim.
Look at his face, he's so sad.
Why is he so depressed?
I reckon because he used to be the hero now. I think Muhamamd Hijab is the hero now. He's a
tag along. Okay.
Yeah, he's a tag along.
With the diseases would be proliferated as a result of people having intercourse outside of marriage, and that this would be something that would be diseases that had never been there in the past. The interest-based economy that we live in is mentioned by the Prophet. In the future, interest will be everywhere. Whoever does not consume it, he will not be able to evade its dust.
Yeah, so that's the other one he said that STD one, obviously that's bullshit as well. STDs are very common. We've always had STDs in the past as well, in the Roman times as well. So it's just not like something that Muhammad came up with and nobody else knew about it. And the other one that he just talked about, interest rates. Interest will be everywhere. We live in interest-based economies.
That was that's
too. That's my argument. Yeah, again,
yeah, it was there too, like lending money and everything. That was like, I mean, even before Muhammad, it was the main business of that was happening. Jesus was like, the whole problem he had with the business around the temple was because they were borrowing and lending money. Lending and borrowing. Yeah.
Anything. Muslims need to understand that there's nothing special about something that is already happening around you. Okay, so for example, all roads lead to Rome. So if Prophet Muhammad has said that, there will come a time when there will be a lot of roads in your cities, okay, then you could say, hey, look, we've got freeways, we've got motorways, and we've got these streets and roads and whatever.
It needs to be more specific.
There's nothing special. Yeah, it needs to be more specific. That's the requirement. Well, what's the date today? On 19th of December 2025, a man is going to come to your house. He's going to knock on the door and he's going to tell you that, hey, exactly 9 months from that day, you're going to have a baby boy. Now that is a specific prediction or prophecy.
And I think that's not too much to ask, because here's the thing. These prophecies are either meant to impress us or they're not. Yeah. Okay? If they're not meant to impress us to think like, oh, Islam must be true because of these prophecies, okay, then don't use them, because they're not meant to do that. Okay? If they are meant to impress you, then wouldn't Allah be capable of doing something a lot more impressive than these prophecies? Because this is an insult to Allah. If you're saying that the purpose of these prophecies are to make us go like, wow, how did they know? Okay? If that was the goal and this is what they come up with, then Allah is not all-powerful. Because if I was all-powerful, I could come up with so much better prophecy that will make your mind melt, just if you heard about it.
No, I always give this example. There's a very bad movie of Keanu Reeves, the day the earth stood still. He's trying to he goes, the storyline is and again he's very stupid as well. He could have easily gone to the White House and then done it, but anyway, so he just goes. This woman takes him to her physicist friend who's trying to solve this equation, and he just looks at it. He's like, he just scribbles it. He solves the equation, right? He solves the freaking equation. And he goes, what the hell? How did you do this? He goes, I learned it in my high school or primary school or something. So it's like, yes, tell us something that those people didn't know. The people like us would be like, whoa, where did you get that from? There's no way. But what we hear in return from him, the salt water and fresh water don't mix together. The sperm originates from between backbone and the ribs. God has put in mountains as pegs. Get the F out of here, you know. Don't waste my freaking time. These are these idiots that we're dealing with. But anyway, listen. What does he say at the end? Like I forgot to actually show you at the end.
That would satisfy a certain level of probabilistic.
No.
So you wouldn't.
No, because that isn't how I evaluate the situation.
How would you evaluate it? This is the
Well, I'm Muslim enough to have been invited to your mosque.
No, you always invited.
No, but I mean this specifically.
Yeah,
I mean this very specifically. I don't think in some sense it's a very complicated problem.
Okay.
Complicated. It's very complicated. You gotta. He just throws in that word complicated, just to get a hey look. Don't go hard on me, okay? I'm trying to be appreciative of the complications of the situation.
When people meet me on the street, they'll say things like, I met a couple of Orthodox Jews in New York, and they said to me on the street that they call me rabbi, which was.
He's about to cry.
He's going to cry again.
Is
he cry? Does he ever not cry?
Sorry.
Somebody was asking, is he going to cry today? And I'm like, it was funny. I highlighted it, but I didn't think it will actually happen.
I think he did. I think he did. He goes, somebody called him rabbi, and he cried.
Cried. Oh my God.
And then I have Muslim people who are listening to my biblical lectures, and
they say,
yes, more than that. And they say, well, Peterson doesn't know it yet, but he's really a Muslim, and that's very that's an honor, just like it was an honor to be approached by these Orthodox Jews, and that hasn't only happened once. And I've had lots of correspondence with people, and the same thing has happened with Orthodox Christians, and to some degree the Catholics, and lesser so the Protestants. But
congratulations, Jews want to claim you as your own, Orthodox Christians want to claim you as your own, and Muslims claim you as your own. Of course, why wouldn't you cry?
This is a bad
Everyone
sign.
loves you.
No, if all conservative ideologies, like backwards conservative ideologies, are claiming you as their own, that's a red flag. Okay, that's a red flag.
That says a lot about you. No, but yeah. Armin, this is why I've been saying it from the day dot, that this guy's a conservative. And then his fanboys start attacking me. They're like, oh no, you don't understand. His arguments are very complicated.
Yeah,
of course they are.
Okay, by the way, just to be clear,
exactly
just to be clear, okay, men crying is not a problem. Men should be allowed to cry and all. Okay. The only reason why I'm making fun of this guy who cries all the time is because these people's this audience's image of masculinity and being tough and alpha, it just goes against the idea of just crying, somebody calling you a rabbi and just you being teary eyes over it, because it just goes at the face of the conservative view of how a man should be. That's why I'm making fun of it. But if you don't have these conservative viewpoints and you're a man and you cry, I wouldn't make fun of you, okay? Go ahead and cry out. It's probably healthy and all that. But go ahead.
We talked about this a little bit, and let's talk about proof. Well, for me, the proof of faith is the attractiveness of its adherents. And that's something to think about, right? Well, are you a shining example of the Muslim faith? Well, how hard do you shine?
So for me, the proof of the faith is the effectiveness. Is that what he said, basically?
Adherents.
He's a utilitarian.
So I don't know exactly what to make of that. We talked about this a little bit, and let's talk about proof. Well, for me, the proof of faith is the attractiveness of its adherents.
And the attractiveness of its adherents.
That's a fallacy.
Of course, it's a fucking fallacy.
That's a popular fallacy. That's the most famous, one of the most famous fallacies of the book.
Attractiveness. What is it? Appeal to attractiveness. So what if we have the adherents? Yeah, no, but even appeal to attractiveness as well, because he's saying attractiveness of its adherents. Like, if people are really adherent to it, and this is what Tate actually made the same argument as well. He said, Muslims are the only people who actually force their followers to defend and respect their own faith. Okay, so did Nazis. Yes, exactly. So freaking Nazis. Nazis are very committed Nazis about the Nazism. So, that's what the fuck, man. I'm done with this. I need to cry. Okay, let's just move on from these idiots.
Get my best-selling book, Why There Is No God, for free. Click on the link for it in the description.